So let's talk about the rubrics for this course. The exams are self-explanatory, but there are 3 other assignments in this course, which include completing 4 ethical dilemmas, 6 discussion boards, and your final paper on a current or recent event in criminal justice. In all 3 of the rubrics, the column you want to look at is the column to the furthest to the far left, which is called the Excel column, to know exactly what I'm looking for that assignment in order to get a good grade. For the rubric on ethical dilemmas, you see here, there are 4 critical elements. First of all, you have to maintain an open mind. Nothing irritates me more than reading a paper and the student right up front declares exactly what he believes or she believes the conclusion is, or gives their opinion about it. I'm not interested in your opinion until you get to the conclusion, because the whole purpose of this course is to reason, is to analyze the facts and identify the relevant facts. And with our process in this course, to use the 3 major ethical traditions, virtue ethics, utilitarianism, and Kantian ethics, to determine the right moral answer in this dilemma. So for the first critical element, besides maintaining an open mind, is that you sift through the facts and you identify what is relevant for direct action. Then you have to identify the correct moral question. In most cases, when reading the dilemma, the correct or the precise moral question is usually already identified for you. In the third critical element, you have to correctly apply all 3 of the major ethical, you have to correctly apply all 3 major ethical perspectives to the relevant facts in order to draw and to attempt to draw a reasonable conclusion. So you'll have to go through each one of them, say how each one of them probably would come out on the question, and then from there draw your own conclusion. And finally, I also grade on spelling and grammar. So be careful about your spelling, about your grammar, and also to make sure your font is either 11 or 12. The next one is the discussion board rubric. Again, there are four critical elements. So to get a good grade, you have to adequately answer all of the questions in your initial post. And you need to answer, each answer for your question has to be numbered. I don't want to have to go through your document trying to figure out which which question you're trying to answer. Make sure they're ordered the same way as the questions are ordered. Next, critical thinking. Your initial post has to be at least 500 words. So before you upload or copy or paste or whatever your initial post, make sure it's at least 500 words. I do not count the numbers. Do not count any of the, if you have a little reference list at the bottom, do not count that. And in addition to the number of words, you're also required to cite both text, both the Sorrell and the Jetmore text in your answers. And if there's a video or videos included, you need to make reference to those. And you also need to be able to bring some new research, some new information to try to enhance the discussion. The next one is timely and active participation, which is has the largest number of points for this particular assignment. You have to participate early, which means that you have to make your initial post either Sunday or Monday. You have to have posts on at least 3 separate calendar days, and have given responses to at least 3 other students' posts. So besides your initial post, I'm looking to make sure that you've been active on the website at least 2 other calendar days. But I will also tell you if a student comes in and asks you a question or challenges your thought, then I'm looking for you to have made a response or rebuttal to that student. And finally, also again, you shouldn't be any errors related to the organization of your discussion board. For instance, making sure they are aligned to the questions. And I also deduct for spelling and grammar and on your initial post only. And also that it doesn't have to be properly cited, but if you quote the text, then make sure you say which author and which page number or page numbers that you have used in your answers. So that's pretty much the issues on discussion boards. Also review these, because I do make some comments on these that you need to be familiar with too, to better understand my expectations. And finally, we have the current or recent event in criminal justice paper. There are 7 critical elements on your paper. First of all, the introduction. You have to answer all of the key questions. All of the key questions. And you need to use at least 4 or more sources to tell the story. I don't want to see you go and find one article, and basically that one article gives you all the facts about what's going on with your particular case. You need to use at least 4 sources in trying to piece that thing together. The next critical element is arguments and counter-arguments. You want to present the argument on both sides of the question. I mean, we want to be fair about this because we want to present both sides and be as unbiased and as fair and as coherent as we possibly can. Then we want to identify all the relevant facts in the arguments and in the case, identify the precise moral question, and then analyze the facts and the arguments using the 3 ethical perspectives. And then for conclusion, you want to identify which ethical theme. We're talking about the 4 root sins of criminal justice. Which one or which of the 4 are applied to this situation? And then, of course, you want to draw a logical conclusion about your analysis in your analysis of the using the 3 ethical themes. And finally, you want to have I'm looking for at least 7 credible sources for your paper. We've already said that you've got to have at least 4 that you want to use to write your introduction, but I'm looking for at least 7 sources for your entire paper, and they must be properly. You need to properly cite, and your reference list must be properly presented. In order to get a good grade for writing, you must comply with the APA style, and that's basically it. Again, at the end of the rubric for current for the paper, there are comments there that you want to review. So give these serious consideration, understand them before you start any of your assignments.